Hello everyone, today is October the 5th, and I'm going to be talking about some games that I bought over the past month since I've done the last one of these videos. Before I get started, there's, I think, two things I want to address. You may notice if you watched these videos before, and if you continue watching this one, that I don't buy, right now, a whole lot of NES, Super Nintendo, or Genesis. Those are probably the things that people are looking for when they look at retro video game pickups. But that's just kind of my thing lately I'm not really playing them much. It's not because I don't like them. I love so many games from them, and there's so much stuff I haven't played and don't have, but I'm not finding them as easily, and I'm really not playing them right now, so that's really all it is. And, you know, a lot of times the stuff that I want now, too, is kind of expensive, so I pick up more stuff, so I have more things to talk about, and I'm not really spending, you know, $20, $30 per game. I'm spending considerably less than that, and that's why I get pickups, because I make sure I don't spend that much, but I'm always looking. But anyway, the other thing is, funny enough, it's October and everyone gets into super, like, horror game. I didn't do this last year. I didn't really get that feeling wash over me, but I did the year before. And I'm kind of back into that again this year. I'm sort of into horror. That didn't really affect what my pickups were necessarily, but I did end up getting some games that might look that way. That this would be like a horror-oriented like pickups month. It didn't. It just kind of happened that way. But anyway, we'll start off with a couple things that there's only a few of here. So I'll start with this. First, there's the Shinobi for the 3DS. Like 3DS is another system and not really playing much, but this one's always been cheap for a long time now, and I wanted this one. I finally found it, you know, complete and shit. Because if you go to GameStop and find this, you know, it's always going to be card only, even though it's $7. But, funny enough, I haven't played the PS2 one, nor have I played Nightshade on the PS2, so, as far as the, like, 3D Shinobis, this is, like, the first one I've played, and you're gonna open it up and be like, oh, it's Ninja Gaiden. Well, it's Shinobi. Shinobi was doing Shinobi before Ninja Gaiden was doing their current style, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what year they brought back the Shinobi. But anyway, one 3DS game, Shinobi. Good to have, because Shinobi's classic. Two Dreamcast games. You know, this is why I don't buy I don't have as many of these as I do the other stuff, but I'm not playing the Dreamcast that much lately either, and I hate myself for that. That's the one I have a problem with not playing with. But these are two games I actually really wanted on the Dreamcast for a long time, and so I'm really glad I got them. The one that you may know is Zombie Revenge. My favorite Dreamcast game is Dynamite Cop, which is a ridiculous and goofy beat-em-up, something that really encompasses Sega in the late 90s being ridiculous all the time, and putting out amazing, amazing games that don't really vibe with what N64 and PS1 were doing, or PS2 for that matter. So, when you go back to them, there's some real gems in there, and Zombie Revenge is kind of, it's set with the House of the Dead franchise, basically, but as a beat-em-up like Dynamite Cop, so it's kind of both of those things. It's pretty brilliant. A lot of fun, goofiness, stuff like that. Another thing, this is not a Sega exclusive franchise. There's a Runabout 2 was published by Hot B, I think, on the PS1. But this is Super Runabout San Francisco Edition, and basically what this plays like is like a Crazy Taxi / Burnout type of driving game. Like, it's a bit somewhat open, big environment, and you have missions. It's more like mission-based Burnout, to put it that way. It's crazy. It's craziness. A lot of crashing. You rack up stuff as you destroy the whole city as you drive around in it doing missions. So, a really crazy game. Probably not a lot of people have heard it, but I absolutely loved it when I tried it, so I had to have it. Probably, when I say NES, Super Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis is what people are looking for when they do retro pickup videos. N64 is another one. Obviously, I don't really buy N64 games anymore. I bought my No Mercy because I got another copy of it as the Dash 1. But going forward, I might actually end up buying some N64 games, because even though I'm not into buying cartridge games, I'm totally going to be into buying N64 repros. Not in the same way that I am with N64 and Super Nintendo. If there are N64 repros coming out that people are making and that are things I can't play otherwise, I'm totally into this. And this is actually, it was sort of a limited run type situation, with this particular repro, this is obviously, you can tell, it's a Master Quest repro, complete made repro and everything. It's done by some people, a website called the VGDB, Video Game Database, of course. Really, really well done. I don't feel like necessarily opening it. Fuck it, I'll do it. Try to be really, really careful with it. But anyway, so I think they made 100 copies of this and sold them for $60 a piece, which is really, really good price for something that, you know, is complete and everything like that. They use new cartridge shells and everything, so you can tell right away it's a little bit different. But this is just a fantastically made repro by the VGDB. They do some Game Boy games and stuff like that too. This is their first doing anything more like this, more like an N64 game. And if they do in the future, or if other people are doing them, like my friend Greg from Gorilla Games, if he's doing them, I told him, like, straight up, like, keep me posted if you're gonna be doing N64 repros, because I will buy those. Those are what I will buy. N64, totally different story than everything else. I'm gonna move on to two Xbox games, two original Xbox games. But yeah, that's some kind of like more like odds and ends on it, honestly, for this month. Two Xbox games, and this is actually kind of like what I said. Like, I didn't plan this, but I ended up picking this up for cheaper than it goes for sure. This first one, this is Nightmare Before Christmas: Oogie's Revenge, and I've seen this game so many times, and I never would have thought anything of it except that, oh, it has a little bit of value to it because it's Nightmare Before Christmas. It's called Classic. People are into that. It's a little bit more than that. This game is actually made by Capcom, and it's a Devil May Cry style hack and slash beat 'em up kind of game with Nightmare Before Christmas. And even at that point, I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I want to keep this, because I don't really like Nightmare Before Christmas that much. I'm just not into it. I haven't really, entered that whole level of gothness. I like other goth things, but like Nightmare Before Christmas never roped me in that much. But this game and everything, I'm willing to give it a try through this game. And it's supposed to be good because it's made by Capcom, Devil May Cry engine, everything like that. The other one, I talked last month. I got Bujingai: The Forsaken City, which is made by the same people who made Blood Will Tell. This has nothing to do with any of that. It is published by Sega. And I actually don't have the first one of these. I don't have the first Otogi game, but this one I saw on Amazon was like $10. And it's just doesn't have the manual, so I don't usually see this game, so I grabbed that right away. And this is also a similar type of game. It's like a hack and slash sort of like really fast paced action game with sort of like a feudal Japan sort of style, like something that was being done all the time back then. But I really like Sega and what they did on the original Xbox, and this is one of those examples of like, I'm super into this idea. Sega, original Xbox, fast-paced action game. Yeah, sign me up, please. I'm super into that. And I like when they're in the more like Oni, like Japanese mythology setting. I kind of like that. So that's something that I may or may not get to in the near future. But I always wanted the Otogi games. I always wanted to try them. So move on to 360, which you got a couple over here. Again, like I said, I didn't plan this, but this is a really, really good copy of this game that I wanted back. I beat this on the PS3, like probably 5-6 years ago. Whenever it was it came out. That was 2009, so like probably 5-6 years ago anyway. If you don't know, first of all, this game's going up in price. Probably has to do with the fact that this is the last true, like, fantastic Ghostbusters product. And it's a really, really good game. It's got all the cast members, it's got blah, 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 really good shooter, good story, good voice acting by pretty much everybody. I think everybody's in this except for maybe Rick Moranis. I don't think he's in that. Maybe Sigourney Weaver might not be in it, but all the main Ghostbusters cast is in it. So it's that, and then it's also a good game. It's like that never happens. And it's published by Atari, I just noticed because I moved my finger. I forgot about that part. And the PS3 and 360 versions are slightly different. They're almost the same. I think plot-wise and everything, they share a lot of similarities. But the PS2, Wii, and PSP versions are more cartoony. And I think they might focus a little bit more on puzzles. But this has, like, some fantastic combat, and it's got a really serious, realistic look to it. So if you can, get yourself the PS3 or 360 version, but give either version a try, because just to experience the script and the voice acting and everything from everybody. Really, really good game. Wanted it back. I think I got this a couple months ago, and I just never remembered it. I'm going to start keeping a list when I buy games, so that I remember everything to pull out and I don't have to go running around everywhere that I keep on all the different shelves for, like, did I buy that this month? No, I bought that last month. No. But Tiger Woods 13, I think this was at Savers to still get remnants of a sticker. I'll buy any Tiger Woods golf game when I'm getting a good price on it, and this is, in the past couple years, they've held their value a little bit. So I picked this up at Savers. Good price. You know, it's a golf game. Still has the Masters in it. I think their deal ended after 2014. And then when they went to just Rory McIlroy and they took Tiger away from his stuff, they didn't have the Masters. They pretty much rebooted it with Rory McIlroy and no Masters. No Masters license. But, yeah. Silent Hill Homecoming. I actually did not realize how good of a price GameStop was selling the 360 version for, specifically. Only the 360 version. They're selling for $10 if you can find it. So I was like, yeah, I want that. Why don't I have the two later Silent Hill games? I have all the Silent Hill games, except I don't have all the Silent Hill games. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have the old Japanese developed ones. I don't have any of the Western ones, and this might be the better of the two. I think they're probably about equal. But Silent Hill, I'm just like, yeah, why don't I just have it? It's one of those things that I'll just acquire them whether or not I have 5 other games to play ahead of them in the same series. Silent Hill. Another, as we talk about Capcom, hack and slash, fast-paced, go, and also, I want to say feudal Japan, but whatever folklore this is based on, Asura's Wrath. A game that came out a couple years ago that really kind of packs in all of their tried and true hack and slash type gameplay into a new series. They haven't followed it up, but a new series, Asura's Wrath. I'll play all those games that Capcom puts out. They could put out every single game, and why not bring back Onimusha? But anyway, the only one of these I had before was F.E.A.R 2. I had F.E.A.R the original once, and I don't have it. I didn't have it anymore, but I did actually buy that. But for the PS3, I'll get to that. But F.E.A.R Files is actually only available on the 360. The weirdest thing to me about the F.E.A.R games that I've noticed is that they were originally made by Sierra, which is like, I don't think they went under. I think they got acquired by Activision. That was my understanding. But I never pegged Sierra in the 2000s era to be worth a damn. And I didn't realize they put out the F.E.A.R games until I saw this and the first one. I was like, oh shit, they did Sierra. It's been made by Monolith the whole time, but I didn't actually realize Sierra published it. Not a company I was ready to trust at any point. They made, I remember seeing them on like Time Shift and shit. They did not do well. Last 360 game, Lollipop Chainsaw. God damn it. I have so many of Suda51's games, and I feel weird that I have so many of them. Especially this one now, but god damn it. It's, like I said, like, I'll play all those Capcom games that are hack and slashes and, you know, just cut everybody to pieces and, you know, Bayonetta style. Bayonetta's the best example of it at this point, so that's what I say, is it's like Bayonetta. But yeah, look at this cover and just don't judge me on this. I have all Suda51. I don't have all of his games, but he makes me feel weird. Because so many of his games are games I want to play, but he does weird shit in them, and I'm like... Anyway, one GameCube game, an amazingly lucky thrift store find, actually, Mario Kart Double Dash. I didn't have it. That's all I have to say. I didn't have Mario Kart Double Dash before, now I do. Didn't pay much for it. Lucky. Probably the luckiest thrift store find I've had in a while. Boy and His Blob. Boy and His Blob, you might know from the NES. It's a fantastic idea, fantastically designed game with some, old school bad choices in the original version. This remake for the Wii fixes a lot of that and also makes it look really, really nice. This art style is really cool and everything. What I want people to know about this one, though, is it's published by Majesco, and that might turn your way. But it was developed actually by WayForward. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for WayForward as a company, because I think every developer puts their work in on shit when they're really trying to get going and trying to get publishers to work with them and everything. WayForward had been doing that for almost 20 years before they started to be able to make really good shit. And now that they're doing it, this may or may not have been a passion project for them. I don't know how much they really liked Boy and His Blob, or if they just got pegged with it. They did a good job on it. They also made some real shit. Like, they made all those That's So Raven games and shit like that. That's what they did for, like, the first 10 years of their existence. But now they make Shantae. And they made Shantae in, like, 2003. Like, they always had that potential in them to make great games. And they got pegged with shit all the time, and they put the work in. I have so much respect for them, and that's one of their good games too. I put it away and I kept talking. Another one for the Wii, a weird one, Squeeball's Party, and it looks like trash. It looks like so many Wii games that are trash, but it was published by Axis. And when I see shit like that, especially when it's really cheap, I go, you know what? Let me give this a shot. And it also looks, I know it looks like shit, but also it's kind of adorable too. And, weird. It's worth giving a try. But you see games like that and you're like, Axis? How did Axis put that up? Well, maybe it's worth something. Or maybe it's worth playing, what I meant to say. I'm back on track a little bit with the Wii U. I'm very happy about this. Let's start. Transformers Prime. I'll say this. I have less than 10 games left on my Wii U list that I had, to say, I want these Wii U games. This is the rest of the games I want. Anyway, Transformers Prime. This is probably the only Transformers games I'm ever going to buy. I was not a Transformers person. I never really cared about it. I especially don't like the Michael Bay movies. I tried to watch the first one. I don't care. This is more like the cartoony one, so it's a little bit better than that. There's games for every Michael Bay Transformers movie that comes out. This is more of the cartoony style, which is cool. And it's kind of like a regular, run and gun, and it's got good reviews and everything. So I said, well, it's on the Wii U. I guess I'm getting it at some point, and I did. Transformers Prime. Decent game. Another one that the rest of them aren't that bad. Maybe this one feels weird for my own personal reasons. Angry Birds. I was thinking about Angry Birds when I put them on the list. There's Angry Birds Trilogy and Angry Birds Star Wars. I still need the Trilogy one. But Angry Birds is kind of like... I said it's kind of like Minions. And Minions are worse than Angry Birds by far. But both of those things are things that were okay in their original form, but did not deserve to become a cultural phenomenon, and therefore become hated by their overexposure. And Angry Birds, I played it on the iPhone a couple years ago when I had an iPhone that could hold games on it, that had enough space on it. And it's a good game. It's not a cultural phenomenon, or it shouldn't have been. So here's Angry Birds Star Wars, which probably plays great on the Wii U because it's got the touchpad. It's the same thing. Bigger screen, actually, than an iPhone. So yeah, these are games that are worth getting, and I feel weird buying them, but I have to remember that, society did this to our perception of Angry Birds, and even to the Minions. Because Despicable Me was alright, but the Minions are a cancer. Angry Birds is not a cancer, but it also doesn't deserve to have a movie either. So yeah, that's Angry Birds. That's me justifying my purchase of Angry Birds, honestly. Adventure Time, the other one, Explore the Dungeon because I don't know. I got the Finn and Jake Investigations one, which I thought was an interesting thing. I couldn't really get into it necessarily, probably because it has a lot more to do with story, but this is more like a dungeon crawler. And either way, they're supposed to be half-decent games anyway. And so many people I know are into Adventure Time. I always feel like I'm missing something. I just haven't really got into it yet, that's all. But I'll buy both these games on the Wii U because, you know, they're half-decent games anyway. Everyone seems to like it, so. Adventure time. This is the third time I've bought Resident Evil Revelations 1. I may end up buying it on the Switch in a couple years if it's cheap, but I don't know. But I originally bought it on the 3DS because it was supposed to be an exclusive, and I was still really high on my, like, I love Resident Evil 4 and even 5 thing. I bought it on the 3DS. I didn't finish it on the 3DS. I did finish it the second time I bought it on the 360 because I bought it on a console, so I'd be more likely to play it. And I liked it. And I spent a lot of time thinking, like, well, I already played it. I bought it and I beat it, and I've already bought it twice. So I probably can just hold off on this. And then eventually I was like, you know, fuck it. I have to get it on the Wii U. You know, I might play this again, and I'll play it on the Wii U. And I'll enjoy it. So I got it on the Wii U now. Third time I've bought this game. But it's good. It was the best Resident Evil game in a while, up until 7. So. Scribblenauts Unmasked. I still am not super into Scribblenauts. I tried to play the first one, but there's a lot of progress that they've made since the first one that makes me think that I could just try a bunch of different ones. But there's Scribblenauts Unlimited on the Wii U. I had that one, and now I have Scribblenauts Unmasked, which is the DC Comics one. Probably works really good on the Wii U. It's another game that probably plays really good on the Wii U because of the touchscreen. And finally, for the Wii U, we finally have Lego Batman 3. You can't see 3 because the sticker sucked. Lego Batman 3. I had Lego Batman 2 for a while because that was a lot earlier and not as many people bought that, but Lego Batman 3 seemed to be everywhere, and I inevitably ended up buying it because it was in a package deal thing. So I got Lego Batman 3. I have so many Lego games on the Wii U now. The one I'm into is Star Wars, and then there's so many superhero ones, like, damn. The only one that I don't have yet is the Avengers one, which is still kind of, I don't want to say it's expensive. It's a couple bucks more than the other ones, but I hate having so many of the Lego ones. Oh, Lego City Undercover and the Lego Movie. Those are both good too, but there's so many Lego games. So many Lego games. 4 PS3 games. Resistance 3. I love Resistance. I had not played this one yet. I haven't played the Vita one either. But yeah, I just never had Resistance 3. This will be my first time playing it. So that's cool. I like Resistance. I know this game's terrible. You may have seen this a bunch of times on the 360, but you probably didn't know, because I didn't know either, that it had a PS3 version. I don't know what's different about it. They changed the name to Vampire and Altered Species. It's bad, but it was also really cheap, and I was intrigued, basically, by the fact that there's a PS3 version that's supposedly different. So that's that. Like I said, I got F.E.A.R, the original one. I had this before. Didn't get too far into it, but I really like the F.E.A.R franchise overall. I just haven't really played the games that much. I like the idea. And Monolith Soft is actually a great company. They've been doing really well lately. Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of Mordor. That's all I care. Shadow of Mordor is amazing. Condemned 2. I played the first Condemned a couple years ago now. I think like 3 years ago. I think honestly it's not that great, but I liked it better than most people probably would like it. So I've always heard that the second one's not as good, but I eventually had to cave and get the second one. So that's me getting the second one. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, let me do PS2. There's only 2 PS2 games here. Just weird little ones I got. Dropship United Peace Force. This is actually published by BAM. Weird company to see multiple times. It's probably crap, but it's a Rogue Squadron style, from what I can tell. Kind of, if anything, it's like flying the Y-Wings and the V-Wings, the big chunky ones. But yeah, I'm interested in that. See how it plays. Dropship United Peace Force. So we'll see how that goes. And then also, like I said, this one's probably crap too. It's published by Gathering, who published, I don't know if they did the original PC version, but they definitely did the the console version of Mafia. So I think this, if anything, might come down to another example of maybe this company doesn't necessarily know what they're doing when they port games that might be better on PC. But it's a Vietnam game, and I'm always interested in seeing what companies do with Vietnam games, because, you know, they're interesting to me. And finally, we got some PS4. So Mad Max. Mad Max is, for the most part, a car combat game. I still haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, and I'm a little bit angry at myself for not watching it, because I think I have it. I haven't watched it yet. But it's about destroying cars with other cars, and I'm always into that. So I'm super into that. I'm into that, and I'm into that, and I'm into that. I keep saying that. This came out a couple months ago, and it was $40, and I knew it wouldn't really hold its value because it's THQ Nordic. Most people don't really trust THQ Nordic at this point, I feel like, but I really like them. But that's not also it's not the reason I bought this game. The reason I bought this game is because it is now the second game, the other being Sacred 2, to feature I want to say basically my second favorite band behind Sabaton, Blind Guardian. They wrote a song for this game, just as they did with Sacred 2. They're not on the back of this anywhere, but they do have a song that was specifically written for this, because it's based on the same kind of things that they write their songs about. It's based on The Dwarves by Marcus Heights, so naturally you got Blind Guardian in there, and that's why I bought it. Another game I've really had my eye on for a long time, it's a budget level title. It came to the Switch. I think it's on the eShop, but it's not coming out physical as far as I can tell, unfortunately. So, get it physical on whatever it already came out on. Overcooked. It's supposed to be amazing. It looks amazing. Great little like co-op party game sort of thing about chefs in a kitchen. Published by Team 17, people who do Worms, and people who published Yooka-Laylee. Still waiting on. Also, yeah, you probably noticed I don't have any Switch games again. But next month that'll be different. But Overcooked, check it out, definitely. Really excited about that. A game that I waited and waited and waited on. I think it's going to start going back up, especially because of Knack 2, the sequel nobody really asked for, but why not? Is Knack. I think the biggest complaint I got from people originally was that it's buggy. But it's a platformer, and I'm interested in it. It was a really, really early PS4 title, so I don't know. They just don't make games like this on PS4 lately, so what's up for Knack 2, of course. Which is probably not even worth the $40, but I'll probably buy that eventually when it flops commercially. Marvel Pinball Epic Collection Volume 1. This came out around the time that Stern Pinball Arcade, which I still haven't bought because there's not that many tables on it. This came out around that time, and I think it was either 30 or 40 when it came out, and it has continued to drop so fast, and I still really didn't want it. I basically got this in a bundle deal at GameStop at like 4 for $30, and I paid like $7.50 for it. I said, okay, I'll pay the $7.50 for this and see what it's all about. Because I love pinball games, but I love pinball games when they're based on real tables, not when they're made up. And I played one table on this, it was the Venom table, and I fired it up, and I was like, you know what? I'll give this a little bit of credit. This might be good, because you can do things in virtual pinball games that you can't necessarily do in a real table that you're translating. And my god, the table design was so bad on that Venom pinball table that's on this. It's so cramped, and it's so tiny in the small area around the flippers. It opens up a little bit like Taxi, but like I'm ranting. I hated that table. It's the only one that I've played, and this is probably not worth buying. If you're a huge pinball fan, you probably still don't even want to get this until it's like $5, and even then just to see how bad the tables are. I hope they prove me wrong with the other tables when I get to them, but I was like, yeah, I was completely right about that one. Like, it's not good. Boom, Night Trap. Released on limited run. I actually didn't buy this on limited run, because I was stupid and I thought it was supposed to be $60 on limited run. I didn't pay $60 for it, even though that's what the price was going for afterwards. I just managed to pick this up for like $40. And I'm really glad that I did, because I didn't screw myself out of having this amazing piece of PS4 limited run history of Night Trap. It's such an amazing piece of crap, you know, to have given this kind of treatment. That's just one of those little like piece of your collection, piece of history things that I had to have. And finally, I just got this yesterday. This is the Wolfenstein 2-pack. I played New Order, loved it. Actually kind of excited for the fact that Wolfenstein 2 is going to be on the Switch, not when it comes out next month, but a little bit into next year. I didn't play the Old Blood, though, and it was still like, you know, $15 to $20. And then I saw this. This was on Prime, and I probably still is. For Prime members, this is $20, which is a fantastic deal if you haven't played either of these. It's supposed to be $30, which is still a good price if you haven't played either of them. Fantastic at $20. And I actually said, you know what? I want to play the Old Blood. I'm going to sell my copy of New Order. I already did. I ended up probably paying like $12 out of pocket for this 2-pack. And it's also interesting. It comes with a special rebate for Wolfenstein 2. I wouldn't be able to use it because you have to do it at the retail price, so you wouldn't get it if you got it on Prime with the 20% off. You have to pay for it at the retail price and do it before the end of this year. But it's still a cool little thing to have. Like, if you are into Wolfenstein, or if you haven't played either of these games, definitely get it. I'm really excited to play the Old Blood because New Order was really good. I don't think the Old Blood's going to be as good, but really, really cool 2-pack. And these 2-packs are always worth money later on, like more than the combination, you know? So that's another thing that I got. That's it for this month. Hopefully next month I'll have, I know I will. I'll have Super Mario Odyssey, and hopefully I'll have some of my other Switch games I'm waiting on to talk about next month. And then, honestly, if it's just those Switch games, I'll be happy. Still waiting on Yooka-Laylee. Still waiting on Sanmora. I'm still waiting on Tiny Barbarian. I think that comes out soon. It'll do too. So many games for the Switch. I'm still waiting. Rhyme. Did I say rhyme? Anyway. I'll be back soon for some Banjo-Kazooie to wrap that up. And I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Listen to me talk.